every training. If you are having issues with hearing, there's a break in transmission, we record it. So there's a dedicated YouTube page for every class. So you never need to worry about missing a class. All right, welcome to the Certificate in Consulting Practice. My name is Shola Ajani from the School of Consulting. I'd like to make a few introductions of myself, and then as we proceed on the training. I'm a certified management consultant, and I'm a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants in Nigeria, which is also part of the global CMC, Global Certified Management Consultant in Switzerland. I am the interim president of the Pan-Africa Consultant Association. I'll talk a little bit about that. We set up the Pan-Africa Consultant Association because there is no consulting association that caters for Africans. That is why we set up the Pan-African Consultant Association. If you don't speak for yourself, somebody will speak for you. That's why we set up the Pan-Africa Consultant Association. And we encourage everyone to sign up to be a member of Pan-Africa Consultant Association. I'll talk more about that in a while. I come to this training with 25 plus years experience in consulting across the globe, in Europe, in USA, and in Africa. The School of Consulting was set up in 2019. Why? Because of limited access to consulting training and certifications for Africans. There's limited access for consulting training and certification for Africans. As I said earlier, anybody can set up and say they're a consultant, but with very limited training. And with that limited training, there's a limit to how far you can go as a consultant. Trust me, I've been there. There's a limit to how far you can go. There are some jobs you are afraid of even applying for, simply because you know your limits. And this is what training takes away, brings to you. You have a lot more confidence to apply for jobs. And in any case, you consult properly. I'm also the chairman, the board of governance of the School of Consulting, and I run the programs. I'm the director of programs for the school. So the school was set up, as I said, to create access for consulting careers for Africans, provide quality consulting training and other training, and then what we call consulting or continuing professional development, CPD, for consultants. So not only do we train people to become consultants, we train them to remain as consultants and to be better as consultants. We're established in London, UK in 2019. Our first class had 4 people, just 4 people. In the last 4 or 5 years, we've trained over 300 people. And we're quite pleased about what we have achieved. But we know that we can still achieve a lot more. There's still a lot more that we can achieve. So what are we? A private education for aspiring and practicing consultants. We award what we call the Certificate in Consulting Practice. Certificate in Consulting. So we don't just teach consulting, we teach you on how to practice. As I mentioned earlier on, we encourage you to join PACA. PACA stands for an association of consultants of African origin, Pan-Africa Consultants Association. Why? It is the only Pan-African association for consultants. And so what we're trying to do in PACA is try and stand up for African consultants. If I tell you the market size of consulting in Africa is about $22 billion, but less than 1% of that is managed by Africans. Most of the consulting opportunities are being taken up by foreigners. We need to change that narrative and be involved in consulting. But before we can change that narrative, we can't just say, oh, all these consulting opportunities is going to foreigners. We must be able to say that we have competent people so that they can give us an opportunity. They're not going to give us an opportunity to be part of this large consulting enterprise simply because we're Africans. No, they're going to give us the opportunity because we are competent. And then we have a voice. So the School of Consulting provides competency. The Pan-African Consulting Association lobbies to get consulting assignments from African Development Bank, from everywhere. And then we present it to our members. So that is what PACA is all about. I would strongly encourage you to join PACA. Okay, we've got 2 people in the waiting room. Let's let them in. Let's let them in, okay, as we continue this. So for the school resources, we have slides, we have materials, we have YouTube, we have assignments, we have reading materials for the school resources. There are videos, there are templates, there are toolkits. I'm going to I'm going to show you some of these resources in a minute. Let's see if I can show you some of the resources that we have for the training. Let's go there. Resources we have for the training. Okay. I'm going to show you briefly. There's a lot I want to cover today, so please bear with us. So for the resources, you need to access the resources from the school's website. So you need to access the resources from the school's website. We were talking about this, but let me quickly show you how to access the resources. So this is the school's website. Please confirm you can see the school website. Can you please confirm you are in the website? Can you see the website?
Yes, we can. Yes. I can.
Okay, so you can see a menu there that says Students Login. The menu says Students Login. And that's on the website. So you click on that, Students Login. And then in Student Login, it takes you to the students area. This is a private login area for students to access the school's learning resources. So all our resources are here. All our resources. I've opened some of the resources, which I'm going to show you. But you may need to register to access this area. So once you go to students login, it would ask you to register. I was able to access the student login straight away. Why? Because I'm registered. So some of the students' materials that you are open to you. This is what I call the Consulting Bible. 927 solid pages of everything you want to know about consulting. That's there. 927 solid pages. It was put together by International Labour Office, Management Consultants, the 4th edition, as you can see. Yes, your registration is still valid. Management Consulting, a guide to the profession, a thorough guide. So this is all free to download. All these materials are free to download if you wish. That's the contents of the book. Management Consulting in Perspective. That's part 1. It gives you a background of management consulting. The consulting process, how to consult. That's part 2. The entry, the diagnosis. We're going to teach you all of this. Action planning, implementation, termination, consulting in various areas. Consulting in general and strategic management, consulting in IT, consulting in finance, consulting in marketing, consulting in e-business, consulting in operations management, consulting in HR, consulting in knowledge management, so on and so forth. Consulting in productivity and performance improvement. Okay, consulting in company transformation. Consulting in social and social responsibility of business. These are a lot of emerging areas. Consulting in small business development, consulting in the informal sector, consulting for the public sector. Then part 4, focus on how to manage your consulting firm, how to structure your firm. So that book is there for you to download. Another important document that you have as resource is a management consulting toolkit. We use templates. We use framework a lot in consulting. And this framework are what others have used to solve business problems for clients. We use all of that. SWOT analysis, benchmarking assessment. You can use this to get work. You can use this to solve problems. You can use this to design your solutions for clients. Over 50 templates in that. Number 23 says solution assessment and prioritization. One of the key things we do as consultants is we never tell a client what to do, but we give them options to decide on what to do. So solution assessment and prioritization is you have 5 options as solution for your client, and then you assess its solution and then you prioritize it. You score it. So solution ideation and ranking framework is a very, very powerful tool that allows your client to make an informed decision. Okay, that's part of the materials you have. Business transformation framework. A lot of businesses are going through transformation. This is a template to do that. So that's part of the resources we have. Other resources that we have there are sample proposals, how to send proposals, effective proposals to clients, how to structure your proposals, what are the content of your proposals. Please, I'm just going through all of this. We're going to spend time going through this at some point. I just want to show you what we have as materials. There's another material I'd like to show you, which is a book by one of the leading consulting organizations globally. It's a free book that you have access to. Let me see if I can call that up right away. Yeah, the McKinsey Way. McKinsey Way. McKinsey is a large global firm, and somebody wrote a book on that, the McKinsey Way, using the tools, using the techniques of the world's top strategic consultants to help you and your business. There's so many materials there that we would come to that. All right, let me go back to my slide. There's so much to cover today by way of resources and by way of information. So stay with me. So that's the slides. There are going to be materials that you're going to have access to. There are reading materials as well that we recommend, recommended texts. We recommend sites and the school resources that we have seen. These are 5 or 6 recommended texts that I present to you. Brands. One of the key things you must be able to do is to build up your consulting business as a brand. And this is a very, very good book by Al Ries. Al Ries is a marketing guru. It was written by Al Ries and his daughter, Al and Laura. Extremely good book on how to brand your consulting business. Positioning is another brilliant piece of work, again by Al Ries. You know, if you don't position yourself, people will pigeonhole you. You know, so when people want to buy your service, who comes to mind? That's positioning. So when we say the School of Consulting, the name alone is positioning. The name alone sells what we do. That is positioning. We are in consulting. We are not the best consultants, but when it comes to consulting training, we are one of the best out there. That is what I call positioning. So that when somebody is looking for consulting training, the default go-to school or go-to person for consulting must be the School of Consulting. And that is where we want to bring it to. So for wherever you are, you must position yourself. If you don't position yourself, nobody can see you. So one of the key things that we teach at the school is how do you position yourself? And that's where the one-to-one comes in. The one-to-one is extremely valuable. The one-to-one is hand-holding, showing you on how to do it. The first part 1 is generic, but the part 2 is hand-holding. We do it almost one-on-one, whereby we look at what you want to do and see where the space in the market is, create products for you, develop your consulting, and position you in that market. And then the part 3 is helping you to set up your consulting business. So it is very intensive and intentional, very practical. A very brilliant book I'm going to recommend is The Blue Ocean Strategy. The Blue Ocean Strategy. Extremely, one of the best books I've read that has helped us to shape our training at the School of Consulting. You see, the book talks about 2 types of oceans, the red ocean and the blue ocean. The red ocean is called red because it's blooded, it's been blooded. So there are market opportunities. Many people, when they start their business, they start in the red ocean where there's so much competition. But this book expounds that you start your business in a blue ocean. You create a new market. Let me give you a brief example. When I started consulting, I started in the red ocean. I started recruitment consulting. I started in the red ocean. 2-3 years, I was struggling to get business until I identified and created a new market segment. That new market segment was my blue ocean. Guess what? In my blue ocean, there was no competition. In the blue ocean, there was no comparison. So the blue ocean was just there. Having said that, blue oceans can turn to red ocean. But guess what? You have what we call the first mover's advantage. You were there first. So you can protect your leadership. These are the things that we teach you at the School of Consulting. So the School of Consulting teaches the technical and the business of consulting. The Art of War, some of you might have read it, by a Chinese general on how to win wars. Business is war, whether you like it or not. So you must know how to move and navigate your business. Always Start with Why is a very, very brilliant book that you can use. Excuse me. I mentioned briefly this morning that you always start with value. Value is why, or why is value. Why must you buy this training. So I'm expounding the value. I'm not even talking about the price. I'm talking about the value, the benefits of what you can get. This book by Simon Sinek talks about start with why. From where we come from, most of us are from Africa. We start with what? But there's a new move to always start with why. When you start with why, there's a lot more buying. Why talks about the value proposition. So Simon Sinek, brilliant book I recommend, says start with why. And then I mentioned the management consulting handbook that you have access to. So how is the training going to be structured? Lots of assignments in this training, even though this part 1 is free, but for those who want to go to part 2 or who want to go forward, you need to be involved in the assignment because the assignment is part of the certification. There is no certificate without an assignment. Please, I'm repeating this. There's no certificate without an assignment. The assignment is our own way of assessing you and our records that we have assessed your learning. So please do not ask for a certificate if you have not gone through the assessment. We simply will not do it. So please, assessment is very critical. Your final project is very critical. That is after all the modular training. There is an assignment. In fact, as a matter of fact, at the end of the class today, there is an assignment. So for those who want to go ahead, please, you need to take that assignment, okay? What are the benefits of the training? You perfect the skills to successfully deliver a consulting project, okay? How do you deliver a consulting project from A to B? We'll show you how to do that successfully. How do you present ideas to clients? Again, is another key takeaway you're going to be having, how to present ideas successfully to clients. Somebody says, how do you want to access the books on your site? The books on our site, we'll talk about it. Let me finish all of this. You can access it once we are done, but we'll talk about that. Another key takeaway is how you can present ideas and proposals and recommendations confidently and persuasively. Now, I say this because when clients approach you, they are always going to approach you with a problem and how they think you should solve it. Please, it is what I call the consulting trap. Let me repeat that. When clients approach you, they're going to approach you with a problem and what you should do. It's classic consulting trap. And as a consultant who has not been trained would always fall into this trap. Please never do that. One of the first things you do as a consultant is your due diligence. Is your due diligence. Again, we'll show you how to do that. Very first thing to do. Now, when you say to a client that, look, thank you for the brief, we need to carry out our due diligence, they're likely to say, oh, you're trying to stretch it, you're trying to get more money. Yes, you may end up getting more money, but you will get better results. Always validate what a client brings to you. Most times, a client brings to you what they can see. They bring to you symptoms, not the root cause. We don't care so much about symptoms. We care more about the root causes. If you don't deal, I can tell you for free, if you deliver an assignment where you only focus on the symptoms and the problem remains, the client will blame you. Let me give you an example. UBA did a fantastic job for them many years ago. And I was so excited. Next year, I went to them, so let's do this again. They said, no, Mr. Ajani, the solution you brought to us last year, this is the result. Even though it was no fault of mine. Clients always look at the result. So they buy because of value, and then they buy again because of the result. Okay? They buy because of value, they buy again because of result. These are key things you need to be able to master. So talking about mastering, you master the basic techniques for advising and improvement or change process. Again, these are key things, deliverables. Develop the ability to recognize, understand, and address a client's business issue. This is key. Most times they come to you with their symptoms, not the root causes. Okay? So we hope you'll be able to understand the processes, the practice, the tools to be able to lead consulting projects. You will learn how to analyze business problems and develop plans for improvements. Okay? It would help you to identify problems, come up with solutions, achieve desired outcomes. Listen, one of the key things in consulting is never start a consulting assignment without understanding the desired outcomes of the clients. Let me repeat that. Never start a consulting assignment without understanding the desired outcomes of the clients. Listen, it is the desired outcomes of the client that will determine whether the consulting is a success or not your own outcomes. It is the desired outcomes of the client. So we take that away from module 1 today. I'm still doing my introductions, please. Try and pardon me. From module 1 today, we would understand how to identify a consultant's outcome. 1 minute, please. One of our trainers is trying to join. Okay, our consultants are trying to join. I've got some consultants who are joining us. Let me give them access. They are part of the facilitating crew. So please let me give them access. Where are we? Okay, let's go there. I'm trying to give them access. 1 minute, please. Okay. Yep. Okay, done. All right. Where were we? As I said, there's just a lot to cover, but please stay with me. It may not really make sense now, but we will get there. I'm just laying the foundations, as it were. Okay, let's go back to the slides. Where were we? Where's our slide now? Okay, I'm back there now. Okay. Okay. So yes, you'll be able to manage the client's expectations. Very, very key deliverable as a consultant. All right, we have some class rules which we'll repeat when the class starts. The timing, we like to start at 10, it's 10 to 2. We record every class. We have breaks. There's 4 hours for the next 4 Saturdays. For those who really want to continue training, we expect at least 60% attendance. And if you can't attend for any reason, please ask for the recorded video. So therefore, every class, there's a YouTube page for every class. We also have what we call a class representative. So we'll discuss more about that as we go along. The training structure, this is the training structure. In 3 phases, modular training, which we're going to do for the next 4 or 5 weeks. That's modular training. We're going to do this every Saturday for the next 4 weeks, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. 10 a.m. to 12 noon. We're going to do this for the next 12 weeks. Sorry, for the next 4 weeks or 5 weeks. I say 4 or 5 because there's a bonus module for those already in consulting. And that's 30% of the training. That's just 30% of the training. And then phase 2 is what we call experiential learning, whereby Coach Daniel will join us shortly, whereby we spend time going through your consulting business. Coach Daniel is just joining us now. We spend time hand-holding you, and that's 3 months of one-to-one, and holding you on how to set up your consulting business. So there are 3 consultants that are available to you. There's myself, there's Coach Daniel, and then there's Dr. Toyin. I'm not sure whether she has joined us. I'm not sure if she has joined us. So we have Coach Daniel, myself, and Dr. Toyin. We will handhold you for 12 weeks. That's 3 months of practically working with you one-on-one. These are not class sessions. Unless we have 2 or 3 people that want to coach together, we can do class sessions. But this second phase is extremely important, is experiential learning. So part 1 is introduction, is generic. Part 2 is much more focused on experiential learning, getting you to get experience, consulting experience, and how to go about that. And then the part 3 is actually helping you to set up your consulting business. But one of the things we do in the part 3 is going as far as assisting you in securing your first set of assignments. So this is very, very key. Very, very key. So not only are we training we're also very practical about it, and we help you to set up a consulting business. At the end of the day, the training is required, the experience is required, but much more, many of you want to go into consulting, and it might be next 12 months, it might be next 24 months, we are here for you. So all of these don't have to be sequential. You don't have to do the experiential training immediately after. You don't have to do the business training immediately after. We understand that. So maybe you understand that for logistics, for financial reasons, you can always come back to us. As long as you have signed up for the full program, you can take advantage of all of this within the space of 24 months. We encourage you to do it within 24 months. And if you can't, we're still very flexible. But you must have made a commitment from the onset that, look, I want to go through the entire consulting training program. So the very important framework in terms of starting is the 5 weeks training. And then follow on by the consulting experience and then the consulting business setup. Okay, that is the structure. Very briefly, I'm going to talk about the pricing now. I know many of you are very eager to know what is this going to cost? What is the cost of all of this to me? So I'm going to be doing that very briefly now, and then I really wanted to dive into consulting training today. So at least I want to cover module 1 today. So it's critical that I cover all the introductory aspects so that we can focus on the training itself. Okay, so I know someone says someone else can help me with some of this work, fair enough, but good answer I just had to find, unless people volunteer. All right, so talking about the pricing, I hope you understand the structure. The structure is this is the structure. And then these are the fees. These are the fees. So for the introduction to consulting, we're doing this for the next 4 weeks for free, so that we can lay a foundation. So whether you're continuing after the modular training part 1 or not, for those who want to continue, the part 1 is essential. If after the part 1 you say, thank you, Mr. Jani, I'm not ready, thank you, I might be ready in a year's time, let us know. For those who want to go to part 2 and part 3, let us know. And that is the fee. It's 995, 995, I've done it, $995 dollars. That's the fee. And it's important that you understand that it's payable in your local currency. So don't be worried about the dollars. You can pay in Ghana cedis, you can pay in Kenya shillings, you can pay in Naira. And you can pay over 6 to 12 months. And if you want a longer period, we're happy to accommodate a longer payment period. For those who say, look, I'm ready to go ahead, and I'm ready to go ahead, there is an instant 50% discount on the full fees. And that's about $500. Okay? And that's about $500. Say, look, I'm ready to go ahead. I've made up my mind. I don't want the trial period. I'm ready to go ahead. Let me know today. And then you have instantly, you have 50% discount on the full fees. But we need to know that today. Okay, so let's continue. So part 1, in fact, before I go into part 1, let me summarize the entire training structure before I just go into part 1 so that you can have an overview of the entire training, not just the part 1. So let me show you that. So what we have is, if you look at module 1, we have part 1 of the training, part 1, understanding consulting, has 2 modules. Part 1, we have 4 parts actually. Part 1, this is of the training. We have part 1, we have part 2. Part 2 is consulting business. Part 3 is consulting management. And then part 4 is, where's our part 4 now? Part 4 is consulting service delivery. So the 5 weeks training covers part 1, 2, 3, 4. Part 1, 2, 3, 4. So part 1, as you can see here, is what I'm trying to do today. Part 1 has all of this as your modules. Hold on, please. Yeah. So I'm trying to give an overview. So understanding consulting has two modules. Understanding consulting itself, module 1. Module 2 is consulting competencies. What are the skills you need to be able to consult? That's module 2. After that, we start part 2, which is consulting business. And module 3 is the start of consulting business, which focuses on the different business models you can have as a consultant. That's module 3, consulting business models. Module 4 is the services and products you can develop to support your consulting business model. That's module 4. Module 5 is how do you sell consulting? How do you sell consulting? That ends module 5. Module 6 is consulting management. How do you secure consulting assignments? How do you manage consulting assignment? They're two different things. And then part 4 is the delivery, consulting service delivery, delivering the consulting assignments. That's module 8. Module 9 looks at managing a consulting practice. And then module 10 is growing a consulting business. In fact, module 10 is a bonus module for those already practicing in consulting. And we do this on the 5th week. We do this on the 5th or 6th week, as the case may be, how to manage a consulting business. Okay, so that is the structure. So I want to go into the training now for today. I want to start with what is consulting, understanding consulting. But before I do that, I want to take us a 5-minute break. Let's stretch our legs and get water. Let's stretch our legs and get water, because for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to be, oh, no, not 20 minutes. I have Dr. Toyin. Dr. Toyin, are you on now? So I want to give us a break, and then you come in. You're meant to come in at 11:20, which is 3 minutes time. I was going to give us a break. Can Dr. Toyin, are you in already? Dr. Toyin, are you here? Dr. Toyin, are you here? Okay. Daniel, are you here? Coach Daniel,
yes, sir.
Fantastic. So I'm going to give everyone a 5 minutes break to get water, to recover. And then in 5 minutes, 3 minutes actually, because I'm mindful of the fact that you're in Budapest, you say. So in 3 minutes, you're gonna join, or you're gonna take off with presenting a short presentation to us. You have 20 minutes, as we discussed, to speak to the class about hand-holding each of the consultants in part 2. Okay, so 3 minutes, I'm coming back to you. Let's stretch our legs. Let's get something to drink. In 3 minutes time, Coach Daniel is joining, he's taking over. All right, good morning or good afternoon. Once again, my name is Shola Jani, School of Consulting. Welcome to the 24th class of the School of Consulting. Part 1. Part 1 is training, part 2 is handholding, part 3 is the business setup, consulting setup. May I ask, if you're not speaking, to please mute your microphone. Kindly mute your microphone, please. There's a bit of an interference. Please mute your microphone. Yes, please kindly mute your microphone, please. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. So I'm going to be, I'm trying to use this to explain what consulting is all about as a foundation. Can we mute our microphones, please? Kindly mute your microphone, please. Adebisi, Adenuba, please mute your microphone. Yeah, thank you. Let's mute your microphones, please. Thank you. So we're
My mic is muted.
My mic? Sorry?
My mic is muted already, so I guess it's someone else.
Oh, I do apologize. I do apologize for that. Okay, thank you. All right, so what is consulting? What is consulting? I would like to encourage us to pay particular attention to the definitions. It can enable you, or it will enable you, begin to fathom how you deliver services, how you start your consulting practice. So even though it's foundational, it is very, very essential as it will pan out and as you find out in next couple of slides. So consulting, from the definition we have here, it says consulting is the practice of helping organizations to improve performances, operating how? Primarily through the analysis of their problems and development for plans for improvement. So if you look at the basic definition of consulting, there are 3 elements to that basic definition. Consulting is the practice of helping. That is one. So as a consultant, you are required to help. And one of the key things I do pass across at the school is this: never leave a client worse off. Never leave a client worse off. Once a client engages you, you must move them from point A to B, not from point A to minus A. Never leave a client worse off. Because as consultants, we are there to help. And by way of this definition, help to do what? To improve. So as consultants, we're meant to come in, they engage us, to move them from where they are to a better level, to a better state. So as consultants, we're meant to help. To do what? To improve. It could be other things we want to improve, but in this case, performances. And how do we do that? By looking at their problems and coming up with solutions. So 3 things. We help organizations to improve, to become better. So if I compress this definition, I'm saying as a consultant, you are meant to help organizations to become better by solving their problems. So that can be your framework of definition of consulting. As a consultant, I'm meant to help my clients become better by solving their problems. That is the most basic definition of consulting you can come across. Now, having said that, we can blow up this definition. And in blowing it up, you will see further opportunities in consulting beyond helping organizations to solve their problems to become better. And this is why I lay emphasis on the definitions. If you get a good grasp of the definitions, you will see opportunities as a consultant. So let's stretch this definition. Consulting is the practice of helping not just organizations, but individuals. So straight away, you have 2 client groups, individuals and organizations. The truth of the matter is when you start out, you're going to start out as consultant helping individuals. You're not going to start out, well, you'll be lucky. You're not going to start out helping the big oil and gas firm, but it's possible. We're not saying it's not possible. But bearing it in mind that when you start out as a consultant, you're likely to be helping individuals, friends, and families. Don't rule it out, even though you're a consultant. So if we stretch that definition, as a consultant is the practice of helping individuals and organizations. To do what? To improve their present and future performances. Now you can see the highlights. The highlights are in red. The highlights are opportunities in the definition of what consulting is. Again, for you to see what the opportunities are in consulting. So the first opportunity we're seeing is, consulting is not just about helping organizations, but also individuals, our friends, our families. To do what? To improve not just their performances, their present and future performances. Now, the truth of the matter is this. Someone comes to you today with a consulting problem, with a need. It has an history. That is the past. And in analyzing how you can help a client, there are 3 facets to it. They've come to you with the present problem that has an history. So it requires you to look at the past to solve the present, and the solutions you come up with the present must be sustainable in the future. That brings 3 dimensions of opportunities to us as consultants. Looking at the past or looking at the present to ensure that the mistakes of the past do not repeat itself. If you want your solutions to be sustainable, you've got to look at where they're coming from. So you're in offering solutions for the future, in offering solutions for the future, it's about taking a look at the back mirror. Where are you coming from? Where are you now? And the solutions that we put in place now, are they sustainable for the future? So consultancy is in those three aspects. You review the past to solve the problems of the present. And in going forward, you must have sustainable solutions for the future. So if you call me as a consultant now to look at an issue, I'm going to look at what the present issues are, but I cannot get to underscore where we are now without looking at the past. This is where you do our root cause analysis. I mentioned earlier, when clients come to us, they're most always likely telling us, this is the problem, this is what we want you to do. And it's what I call a consulting trap. Never on the basis of a client's instruction, go ahead and carry out those briefs. You need to carry out your due diligence. And the first due diligence you want to perform as a consultant is, how do we arrive at where we are? Those are lessons for now, and that would enable the clients prevent such happening in the future. So in providing consulting solutions, we're looking at it from three dimensions: the past, the present, and the future. The client is talking about the present, but you cannot deal with the present without understanding where they are coming from. And you cannot sustain the present without looking at what may happen in the future. So in solution, when you're providing solutions to clients, you're trying to help the clients not to repeat the mistakes of the past. Provide solutions now, but not just solutions, but sustainable solutions for the future. So those are three dimensions of our solution. And how do you do that? You don't just look at existing problems. You look at what potentially may go wrong in that organization. I mean, Accenture is very good at that. I mean, Accenture is like a bulldog. You don't want a bulldog to bite you. A bulldog never lets go. In fact, Accenture consultants are trained never to exit an organization. Once they come in there, they're always looking for what they need to do to sustain their present solutions. You got to have that mindset. You come into an organization and you want to make sure that they succeed. I have a client that, in fact, most of my clients, I have gone from being a supplier to a partner. You must have that mentality. A supplier, you just want to do the consulting assignments, you get out. But a partner is much more interested in the success of that client. And that has a long-term view. You have a long-term view with your clients. So you are constantly looking out for your clients, even though they just paid you for one assignment now. But to have a long-term sustainable relationship with the client, you got to have a partner mentality, not a supplier mentality. Many consultants have the supplier mentality. Let me do this assignment and get out. No. If you have a sustainable long-term view of the future, you have a partner mentality, and then you have a better relationship with your clients. So when you come into a client's space, we're not just looking at what they're going through. You're looking at what they may go through. And in any case, it is down to you to have sustainable solutions. So let me give you an example. Somebody calls you in. We're using typewriter. I want to use computer. By way of a project, if at the end of 3 months, you've put in all the infrastructures, you've done all the training on how to use computers, and you exit. As far as that as a project is concerned, is a success. But in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, if the people have gone back to using typewriter, then that is a failure. Why? Because your solutions were not sustainable. So in consulting, it's not just about, oh, let me finish the assignment, get the results. Are the results sustainable? That is what defines a good consultant or a good consulting solution. And then finally, having identified what may go wrong, the development and execution of plans for successful improvement. Okay, so this is consulting, helping organizations to become better, solving their present and future problems, looking at what's going wrong now, looking at what's going to go wrong in the future, and coming up with solutions for successful improvement. That's consulting. So if you look at those two definitions, look at them as comparative definitions. There are 5 elements to it. Number one, consulting is advisory. You can advise a client and then you move on. It's about change. It's about managing change. Yeah, changing from where they are to where they ought to be. About advising them on how they have arrived at where they are. It's about analyzing where a company is based on your due diligence. Before you can advise, you would have to analyze anyway. And then you analyze the root causes, what the problems are, and then you're coming up with recommendations. You're coming up with recommendations. And then there's no way you can come up with recommendations without your analysis. It's just not possible. And then implementing those recommendations are a function of your recommendations. That's your execution. So they follow in this order. You look at where the client is, you analyze how they arrived at where they are, and then you come up with recommendations on the way forward, and then there's implementation. So those are largely the three major aspects of consulting. And there are distinct. Many people, many consultants make this mistake I'm going to emphasize on now. Many consultants tie consulting to execution. No, it's a major error. Consulting does not have to be execution. Consulting does not have to be execution. Many consultants tie consulting to execution. And in my view, it's a classic mistake because consulting doesn't have to be when you implement or solve the problem. The very fact that you're able to analyze how the company arrived at where they are, you can offer advice. That is what we call advisory services as a consultant. And consulting can end there. You can get paid, it ends there. On the strength of your analysis, beyond advising them, you might be able to offer solutions on how to solve the problem, as the case may be. That's consulting solutions. And your consulting can end there. And then execution. The client says, yes, we understand how we got into this mess. That's advisory. We understand the range of solutions that is open to us. That's solutions, consulting solutions. Can you help us to implement? That's execution. And that's an entirely different service of its own. Having said that, you cannot execute without having gone through analysis and come up with solutions. So the point I'm trying to make is this. When you are trying to deliver a consulting solution, do not tie it to solving the problem. Not every consulting problem gets to execution. So if you're the kind of consultant that puts out a proposal and says that this is what we do, and then you tie everything to when you solve the problem, half of the time you won't get the assignment because not every consulting assignment or consulting problem gets to the stage of execution. So all that may be required is advising the client on how they have arrived at where they are. And that's consulting. You can end there. You can charge and bill and end there. Likewise, solution. And if it's execution, then you go through the whole shebang. What I'm saying is this, when you are putting out consulting proposals, break this down into three. We deliver our services in this way. We can simply offer advice and charge you for that. Beyond offering advice, we can provide solutions. And then we can stop there. We can stop there. McKinsey was known for a while that they were not involved in execution. They just provide solutions. Go and implement it yourself. But most organizations, most people are now looking at a boutique consultant that can advise, analyze what the problems are, come up with solutions, and then implement it. But you as a consultant do not tie your service delivery into executing the problem. Okay, so in putting together how you're going to propose or deliver your services, you can break it down into three distinct services: consulting advisory, consulting solutions, solution implementation. Okay, so who is a consultant? A consultant is someone that gives professional advice in their area of expertise. So one of the key things is we've got to find out when we do the handholding is, where is your area of expertise? And when it comes to going to the market, we look at your area of expertise vis-a-vis the gaps in the market. And this is practical, this is one-on-one. You could have different experience in different areas, but then the gaps in the market could be your number 3 experience, number 4 experience. It may not necessarily be where you are most experienced. It may be other areas where you have experience. And that is what we do. That's what the handholding is all about. So, Oga Bassey, this is what you have done. This is what you are very good at. What do you want to do? What are the problems you are seeing in the market? What are the problems you have not seen in the market? Where is there demand in the market? And how big is the demand? You may see a space in the market and say you want to go there. Hey, but hold on, you must carry out your research. Why is it that nobody has seen this space? It may be that they have seen it, done their research, and there's not enough market in that space. That's why there's nobody there. So these are all the things that we have to go through. So you offer advice in your particular area. And like Coach Daniel mentioned earlier, we are doctors. Consultants are doctors for business. We want to find out what the issues are with our clients and how best to provide medication or solutions, and then to manage the solutions. The International Labour Organization's International Labour Office gave us 5 reasons. And again, I use this to encourage my students that in framing your consulting services, you can look at these 5 areas. And if you don't have competence in these 5 areas, you can have partners who can bring in value to your consultancy. So the ILO gives us 5 reasons why people buy into consultancy. Number 1, to help organizations set up, to help organizations achieve why they were set up. That can be a consultancy solution on its own. It can be a consultancy solution on its own. You are that consultant that wants companies to maximize the objective. Say, fini, end of story. That's all you're doing. Straight away from this, I see 5 different, if you have 5 different people bringing in 5 different skills, you can work as a partner. Or you could outsource. Maybe your main area is learning. You're a trainer. And the thing about consulting is you get other opportunities. So you are a training provider, you are enhancing learning. And a client comes along and says, we want to implement this change. You won't necessarily say no. You can find somebody else who can help you to implement those changes. And then work out how you're going to share the remuneration, as the case may be. Identifying and seizing new opportunities. You might be that consultant that you are the go-to person. If a company wants to come to Ghana, you are the go-to person. That's all you do. That's what you are known for. Solving management and business purposes or problems. That seems to be the most common service delivery, service solution and solutions offered by consultants. So this 5 gives you a nutshell of why people will come to a consultant. You can help an organization become what they set out to be. You can solve business problems. You can be the one that is always helping the clients to look for new, or you can combine all of this as a consultant. So what do we do, basically? As consultants, we provide solutions to clients, solutions of growth, maybe low sales, poor motivation, new markets, training staff on how to do new things, transformation. Most businesses are going through, every business tends to go through transformation every 5 to 7 years. There are always opportunities for transformation. Why? There are changes in technology. There are changes in learning. There's so many changes. You cannot stand in 10 years and not go through change. So many organizations go through transformation. We talk about cloud technology. Before the cloud technology was this, around about year 2000, it was IT. Sorry, it was internet was an issue. At the clock, when the clock goes back to 00, would everything collapse? And nothing happened. But a lot of consultants when we had opportunities then. When websites started, there were opportunities. Now we're talking about AI. So there's always need for transformation organizations. And as we said earlier, you can sit down with organizations and say, are you achieving what you set out to achieve? And some of the materials that we talked about earlier, the templates can help to do this. When you carry out a benchmarking assessment, or what we call capability gap assessment. Capability gap assessment is looking at the client and looking at what they are turning out, or what their productivity is, what their performance is, and saying, can it be better? And you coming up with how to measure or benchmark the activities and saying, these are other things you can do. You can earn more. Maybe you're earning $10,000 in a month, or say $10,000 in a day. Oh, guys, you can do much more. But these are the opportunities. You can help clients to do that. New markets. You can help clients to identify new markets. You've been operating in this market. Can you operate in a different market? Can you operate in a new environment? You've been operating in Ghana. Do you want to explore selling in Nigeria? Do you want to go to Togo? Do you want to look at Benin? I mean, Dr. Toyin talked about going working in Benin. I remember when we did the training once on earning foreign currency. And I think that's when, if I remember rightly, it was like, oh, really? We can earn foreign currency. And I'm pleased that she's doing that now. You can earn foreign currency. You don't have to earn the currency of where you are located or where your business is. You can look for new markets, even as a consultant or for your clients. These are some of the main things that we do for consultants. So as consultants, we offer advice, counsel, insights, we provide solutions, advice, and implement. So I'll use this to summarize what we do as consultants. We are external experts. Consultants are external experts who offer independent solutions to clients. Consultants are external experts who offer independent solutions to experts. Now, let me just position this with internal consultants. As internal consultants, wherever you are right now, you are playing the role of an internal consultant. And so I encourage people, when they start consulting, do not just throw away all the experience you have acquired internally. All this experience, you are an internal consultant. So for an external consultant that has a brand name, all that, hey, you are an external consultant providing independent solution. As an internal consultant, you are providing in-house solutions. You are still a consultant. So ultimately, consulting is about helping a client or people get from A to Z, getting them from where they are to where they want to be. And there are three instances majorly when somebody will call a consultant. They cannot get there on their own. They don't have the knowledge, they don't have the skills, they don't have the resources to get there. They call you in, help us to get to where we want to be. Number one. Number two, they can actually get there on their own, but they don't have the resources to commit to this project. So they want to get there faster. So they turn this assignment into a project and bring you in. Can you help us to deliver this assignment? Then number three, you have a track record of having delivered this solution. Why don't you do the same for us? Why do we want to invent the wheel? I remember some years ago, UBA Bank. UBA Bank is a major bank in Africa now, but then they were largely in Nigeria. They were going to set up a subsidiary that was going to recruit people, recruit teller clerks. And we went to them and said, look, you set up this subsidiary. We went to the subsidiary and said, look, instead of going through the whole gamut of recruiting, why don't we do the recruitment for you? And then you pass on the people that were recruited to you to the main bank. And we kind of made life easy to them. So the value we presented is, we will do all the recruitment for you, give you the people, pass on the people to the main bank. The main bank just wants you to recruit for people for them. Let us do that. That's what we are very good at. We'll do that. I mean, and straight away, they gave us the assignments. Now, when First Bank wanted to do the same, we went to First Bank and said, look, guess what? We've done this for UBA. It's a proven system. Can we do it for you? So there are many instances, but these are the main three instances why you would always get someone, want to get a consultant to do something for you. But the key takeaway from this is, always remember that your client wants to get from A to B. Either they can do it by themselves, or they can do it by themselves, but they don't have the time and resources. They want to be done as a third-party project so that there's business as usual is not affected. Okay. So this leads me to what I call the consultancy orientation. So as a consultant, you can have 3 hats. You can wear 3 caps. In any one assignment, you can wear 3 caps. And it's what we call the consultancy orientation. A single assignment, you can be 3 different types of consultants. So we have what is called the expert consultant or the expert consultant, whereby you come into a space and the problem becomes yours because they don't have a clue on how to solve the problem. And then because you are very good at that, for instance, I'm going to share this. I'm involved in an assignment with the federal government of Nigeria, where the government wants to reduce all the MDAs, ministries, agencies, and of governments. And so we were called in as experts to work on how do we rationalize and reduce from 1,000 agencies to 500. So we've come in as an expert consultant, delivered our work, submitted our proposal. That's an expert consultant. By virtue of our experience and what you have done, you are asked to come in, solve this problem, give us the solution. That's an expert consultant. Now, secondly, there's what we call the doctor-patient model. There are some business problems that even as a consultant, you don't have a clue on how to solve the problem until you engage the clients. You engage the clients by way of questions and answers. So basically, you work with the client to diagnose the problem before you can come up with how to solve the problem. It's called the doctor-patient model. Now, the final type of consultancy orientation you find out there is what we call the process consulting. This is the client still owns the problem, but they want you to help them to deliver the process. The example I give you about UBA. The UBA subsidiary that was created still owned the recruitment process, but then they found somebody else to deliver on the process. So you could find yourself in one assignment. Part of the assignment, you are the expert. Part of the assignment, you're engaging the clients to extract information. And then part of the client, you are the process consultant. So in any consulting orientation, you don't have to be just one type of consultant. So what type of consultancies can we have there? There are different types. I just mentioned a few. Management consulting, coming up with innovation and strategy, design, development, operations. There are different types of consulting. Everything can dovetail from there. It's all about what problems are you solving. There's so many types of consulting. I'm just using this for the benefit of this training. So your consulting is defined by your experience, the interest that you have, the knowledge and the problems you are solving, and what are the opportunities the market is springing up. So there are different segments you can have. But if you look at the top right here, this gives you an idea of opportunities in consulting. Whether it is to improve, whether it's design organization, whether it's strategy, whether it's processes, whether it's development plans, efficient operations, there's just so much that you can design. But then, like I always say, there's what your competencies are, and there are demands in the market, and then there are ways of looking at how big is this demand. Is this demand scalable? How big is the problem? The scalability of the problem would ensure your sustainability as a consultant. Dr. Tony talked about this. Every consultant must have a consulting framework. That is how you deliver your services to your client. In fact, in every proposal you put out there, every proposal, you must have a consulting framework. It gives the client an overview of your process, of how you work, of how you deliver your consulting solution. I'm about to round up so that we can take questions and let you go for today. And then so in your consulting framework, this is how you, I'm still speaking generally about what a consultant is, how the consultant is set up, how a consultant works, and how you deliver your services. That's all I'm still talking about. So your consulting proprietary framework is this is a framework. And this is a framework I used a lot when I was doing B2B consulting. And we framed it DESA framework. DESA stands for the first thing we do is we diagnose what the problem is. On the strength of the diagnosis, we're able to analyze what the problems are. After analyzing the problems, we can come up with solutions, and then we can implement the solution. Now, when I started out, it was just DASE. We didn't have results. But by virtue of experience, you are now adding results. We're now adding results to our delivery, and that forms part of our framework because of experience. But when you are starting out as a consultant, I wouldn't advise that you add results, because when I added results, I was able to tie this framework to how clients paid us. So we're tying results to payments, and it worked. When I talk about professional charges, I'll show you how this works. Because we are taking out of the risk. 40% of the fees were paid after results. That means we had to get the results. But that means we were taking much of the risk, and that enabled us to get a lot of consulting assignment because the risk to the client was less. So that was an ingenious solution to getting assignments and getting paid higher than the normal. So when we were charging 15, 20%, I was charging 30%. Why? Because out of that 30% I'm charging, I won't get 40% until I give you the results I have promised you. That's our framework. So when you are prospecting for work, you've got to have a framework. That framework says this is how we work. And then in our case, we tie the framework to how we charge. These are things that you can grow into as a consultant. So different operation models that we have as consultants. We have what we call the specialized niche model. You can be a specialized consultant. You're just offering consulting in cybersecurity. You're just offering consulting in banking. You're just offering consulting in agriculture. That's a niche specialized area that you're offering consultants. Or you could be the traditional full service model, whereby you offer everything. And then we have what we call the boutique model. Again, very close to the specialized niche model, but boutique in the sense that it's a small firm, but does so many things. Yeah. And then you can have the virtual or remote model, which is gaining increasing popularity, especially since post-COVID, whereby you offer virtual or remote consulting model. But I'll say to you, please start off from a boutique or niche consulting and then grow, I mean, I'm speaking to you from experience and what I see that has worked. Many people start off as trying to be a full service consulting model. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You stretch yourself too far and too thin. So why don't you start from a small niche area, and as time goes on, you will grow to become a full service consulting firm. In terms of consulting practice business activities, there are distinctively 4 areas of business activities. And then there are another 4 distinct areas of support activities. Now, when you start out, these are 4 major areas that you yourself alone might be handling. And this is what Daniel was alluding to. So when you start out as a consultant, one of the key things is client acquisition and how to manage that relationship, how to do your proposals, how to do the project planning, how to deliver the consulting service. And it's just you as one person. So you can start out as one person, but you, that one person, you have 4 departments on your own. In fact, let me make it even more complicated. You, that one person, you're under 4 departments, which is the support department. But guess what? This shows you opportunities for growth as a consultant. So year 1, year 2, you might just be the only one doing all these 8 business activities. But by year 3, year 4, year 5, you must have an intern. You must have somebody that is working with you, that you are training to handle acquisition. And that's how to grow. So by the time you are year 7, year 8, you have a full practice whereby you could have a partner, by the way, who is responsible for acquisition. You could have someone who is responsible for developing proposals. You could have someone for project management. You could have someone for the delivery itself. That's how to imagine your growth. Say in 10, 12, 15 years' time, this is where you want to be. But you've got to imagine where you are going from day one. You got to have a plan from day one so that you can measure your progress. So we start off with you from ground zero, blank canvas. But we're saying in 2 years' time, the design of your consulting practice is such that there are 4 business activities, there are 4 support activities, and it's just yourself. So you must be able to deliver. If it's that one client, you are the one doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and that 1, 2, 3, 4 to that one client. But you cannot sustain that. You will burn out. If you're doing that for one client, you can't do it for 4 clients. So you need somebody else to join you, and that's how to grow. So if you're looking at how do I grow from where, this is one of the ways to grow. Finally, consulting ethics. Please, I must emphasize on this. As a consultant, please and please and please, you must look at every client as an individual. There's what we call ladder of inference. Ladder of inference. I don't have the time to explain it. Ladder of inference. We jump to conclusions based on available data and information in front of us. And consultants, we run the risk of doing that. We get an assignment, oh, this is similar to the one we did last year for Mr. Lagbaja. It's a classic error. No 2 problems are the same. It might look similar, but they're not the same. So as consultants, one of the key things, one of the key ethics is to look at every problem as an original, even though you may leverage on other experiences and all of that to solve the problem. Number 2, always offer impartial analysis. And that's why we are consultants, always offer impartial analysis to come up with the best solution for the client. Please, I beg you, of any consulting issue you come up with, be impartial, be objective. You're always trying to come up with the best solution for the client. And so you got to be objective and impartial. Okay? So in any assignment that you're doing, again, reference that assignment with the client's mission. How can this assignment help my client to achieve their business objective? Conversely, you got to ask yourself, would my addition help the clients become better? Those are consulting ethics. Integrity, always be transparent. In consulting, you'll find a lot of conflict of interest. Please, please, please be transparent about it. Be transparent about it. I'm not going to say much about that, but be transparent about possible conflict of interest. If your wife is working for, or your husband is working for the client company you're delivering service for, let it be known. There's so many conflict of interest that we find in our space, it has become the norm. So let's be careful so that we're not caught out. Always demonstrate professional behavior, the standard, values, and respect for the consulting profession. Ensure professional advice is sound and relevant to the client's needs. I beg of you, let's be professional about it. Consulting profession is long-term, 25 years, 30 years, 45 years. People are still in consulting. And your longevity is a function of your professionalism. If you are professional about it, you will stay long in the profession, and your reputation will precede you. Okay? High standards. Integrity, we mentioned that. Confidentiality. Please, please, please. When you are dealing with a client's problem, don't refer to other clients by name. You can refer to you by experience. Oh, don't refer to you by name. When I was doing the work for UBA, after doing the work, we went to First Bank. I didn't necessarily say UBA. So we've done this for a competing bank. Okay, and full stop. The client might ask you which bank. You say, well, I have to respect confidentiality. Okay, so please always respect that. And there might be instances where you can mention the name, where there are no confidentiality issues that are at conflict. Diversity. I mean, hey, I say this because my background, I trained in England, practice in America, and practice in Nigeria. You cannot say, oh, I can only take Muslims in my practice. I mean, maybe it happens in some part of our world. But if you're stepping out of your world, you're going to places like UK, Japan, to UK, Europe to consult, you've got to respect races, you've got to respect gender, whether the person is gay or not, as long as he's a good consultant. You cannot say, I won't take you on because you are a gay person. I cannot take you on because you're a Muslim person. Yeah, we're starting today, but I'm thinking far. You may be consulting in America. You may be consulting in the UK. These things comes to bear in those places. It may not be a major issue here. There are issues around diversity. There are issues around ethnicity. There are issues around gender. There are issues around equality. These are burning issues that even organizations are building their values around. So please, let's be very mindful of that. All right. I want to stop here. I want to stop there. I know it's been a long day. What's the time now? We spent 3 hours. Ooh, it's been a long day. So I want to stop there. But before I go, for the benefit of those who have joined us, let me summarize what today has been all about. Let me summarize that. And then we can take questions. I can take your questions, and then we can close for today. Okay? So let me summarize what today has been about. It's been a long day. I'm not going to go into consulting competencies. That's module 2. We'll look at that next week. So let me summarize what today is all about in 5 minutes, and then we can take questions. Many people joined us after we started. This is the Certificate in Consulting Practice. My name is Shola Ajani. I founded the School of Consulting in London, UK in 2019, and it's been 5 years of tremendous results that I'm so grateful to God that one obeyed the call. So we set up the school because of the gap for consultants, especially of African origin. In Europe, in America, your MBA is good enough. You could find consulting firms that could take you on, and then you can become trained and become a consultant. But in Africa here, there's no training unless you work for any of the big consulting firms. And the opportunities are very limited. So we set up the School of Consulting to address that gap, to provide quality consulting training for Africans. We say the consulting market in Africa is about $22 billion. But less than 2% of Africans partake of this big slice of consulting. But we cannot say, oh, yeah, we want consulting, we want to be part of it, if we don't have the competency. And secondly, we don't have the association. And so the School of Consulting, on one hand, is trying to provide training in terms of consulting techniques and tools so that you as a consultant, you can compete at the highest level. That's one of the advantages of training. You can compete at the highest level. You know that you have the tools, you have the techniques, you have the process, you are well equipped to compete. And then secondly, you have a professional association that is fighting for you. So PACA is a professional association. It's called Pan-Africa Consultants Association, whereby we are coming together to demand for a slice of the cake. We're not just demanding for a slice of the cake. I want to demand for a slice of the cake with competent people. Nobody's going to say to you on sentiment, okay, let's give African consultants 5%. I'm not even going to ask for it, because if I'm asking for 5% and we don't have competent people, it's not going to be sustainable. After a while, they'll start giving us assignment because we can't handle it. So the vision of the PACA is to have competent consultants as members who can bid for assignments from African organizations. The African Development Bank is there. ECOWAS is there. There's so much consulting work they give out, but they don't give it to us because, hey, we're not competent. So we're trying to develop competency. So it's a twin-pronged approach: develop competency and create opportunities. So for the schools, there are slides. I've talked about the slides. So this slide that we're using is available for the school. There are materials. We have a YouTube channel. Every class is recorded. So every class is recorded. You can go to your class and watch what was taught of the day. There are assignments. I was hoping I'll be able to give an assignment today, but that'll be next week after module 2. And then there are reading materials. There are videos, there are templates, there are toolkits. Talking about the materials, I'll just show us briefly. There's the, what I call the Consulting Bible. I call it the Consulting Bible. 927 pages of materials on consulting. That's one of these materials that you have access to. In fact, you have access to the McKinsey Way. You have access to sample proposals. So many documents there. You have access to the consulting toolkits, the templates. These are templates that you can use as consultants. The templates that we use as consultants, you have access to. There are 50 templates that we use as consultants. You have access to all this. In fact, when you start using templates, clients will take you serious. They know that you are a consultant because the consultants they have employed have always used templates. Coach Daniel talked about templates, so these are all available to you. There's the consulting, I call the consulting Bible, 927 solid pages of the guide to the profession, management consulting. You have that. So back to I'm just summarizing what we have looked at today. So yeah, that's that. And then recommended text, there are some texts we recommended, Brands by Al Ries, Positioning, Blue Ocean Strategy, The Art of War, Start with Why. These are some foundational brands that we recommended. That's the management consulting, the guide to the profession. There are assessments. There are 5 assignments, 1 assignment after each module. So every assessment must be handed in. We don't certify unless you have completed your assessment. So please, if you are going forward, if you are joining us, you need to complete all the assignments. The training is in 3 parts, and this is the 3 parts. The modular training, which is what we have started today, that will run for 5 or 6 weeks. I say 5 or 6 weeks because there's a bonus module, which is for those already in consulting. We call it Growing Your Consulting Business. For many of us here, we are planning to go into consulting. So the module is such that we have the modular training. Phase 1 or part 1 is 30%. Phase 2, which is the experiential learning, because most of what we're talking about in module 1 is a bit theoretic. But when it comes to part 2, we become more hands-on. This is where Daniel will lead. Daniel is providing leadership here to work with us one-on-one. When I say Daniel is providing leadership, I am involved, Dr. Tony is involved, whereby we have consultants. We are consultants to maybe we don't know what the numbers are, but you can call us at any time after your training if you have signed up for phase 2 and phase 3. Now, you don't have to do phase 2 and phase 3 back to back. You can pause, you can come back and say, well, I want to start, I want to do phase 1 to 3, but I want to space it over 12 months. The truth of the matter is you can space it over 2 years. I mean, I like to be very honest with you. I've had people that in the last 2 years, they spaced this out. But whether it's over 2 years or over 1 year, we need to know so that we can plan the structure of the support we can offer you. In terms of fees, the fee for part 1, 2, 3 is actually $995. $995. But for those who may say to us, look, I've made up my mind. I don't want to wait until after the 5 weeks of training. I've made up my mind. That's the immediate sign up. You're getting 50% of this. If you've made up your mind, you want to go ahead, you're getting 50%. And for those who might be thinking of going ahead, don't wait until after the training because it goes back to the full fees. If after 5 weeks of the training, you now say you want to go ahead, you're going to be paying the full fees. And so to make it easier for you, we're saying 50%, but we need to know if you're signing up. And that needs to be done before we finish module 1. So we've got 5 weeks. Well, you got to let us know so you can take advantage of this. After the 5 weeks, if you say to us you want to continue and you may not take advantage of this 50% discount. So if you made up your mind, I'll say to us, let us know immediately, and then you can have your 50% discount. Beyond that, you can spread the payment over 6 to 12 months. Once you make a deposit, you can pay monthly over 12 months. We've even done 18 months. We don't have a problem with that. We don't want payments or fees to be a barrier. We want to sell value. And then finally, you can pay in local currency, even though we domicile it in US dollars. The reason why we domicile it in US dollars is because we have people from Ghana, we have from Nigeria, we have from Kenya. So the common currency is in dollars, but then you pay in your local currency. You pay in a Nigerian bank, you pay in Ghana, in cedis, you pay, so you don't have to pay in dollars. So people might wonder, how do I get dollars? You don't have to pay in dollars. You can pay in your local currency. And so we delve straight into consulting. And one thing I want you to take away from what we have learned today, the key things I want you to take away from what we have learned today is this. Consulting doesn't have to be, oh, I have solved the problem for the clients. It could simply be you offering advice. That's consulting. Because before you can get to a stage of offering advice, say, for instance, how a client has arrived at where they are, you will have to do a lot of work. That's advice. And it can be consulting assignment there. The next thing could be beyond offering advice, you could be providing solutions. Beyond that, you will be providing implementation. So consulting services, when you're putting your service out there, don't lump it as one consulting service. No. Break it down into three. Break it down into three. Why? Most consulting assignments never get to execution. So if you are the type of consultant that bases your proposal on solving the problem, half of the time you will have submitted the proposal and then you are calling the client. The client is posting you, or the client gets someone else to do it. But if you break down your work into three, your chances of getting consulting briefs increases, because in breaking down into three is more affordable for the clients. You're breaking down into segments. You're breaking down into solutions, so they can take it in chunk bits. So instead of charging $1,000 for all three, you can charge $400 for advisory. You can charge $400 for solution. You can charge for execution. You can now charge $1,000. Okay, so we'll talk about pricing when we get there. Pricing is a major area. People don't know how to price, but we'll look at that. So we'll look at who is a consultant, and then we looked at the 5 major areas the ILO, National Labor Organization, identified. And these 5 areas is a clue on how you can structure your consulting business in terms of your value proposition, in terms of the problems you are solving. You could be a consulting outfit that simply says you want to help companies achieve their objectives. Say, fini, that's it, done and dusted. You could say you're a company that helps to solve business problems. That's it. You could say you're a consulting firm that helps identify opportunities, or you're a consulting firm that enhances learning or carry out changes, transformation. Better still, if you can offer all 5, or you work in a partnership with those who can join you to offer all 5. And that's how you promote yourself. So you have different, these are streams of income as it is, as a consultant. Okay? So what do? We solve problems for clients, provide training. There's a lot more that we do, but this is just summarizing everything. Managing and leading change, helping clients achieve why they were set up, looking for opportunities for our clients. So we are external experts who provide independent solutions. As consultants, we help clients become better. We help them to get from A to Z. Always remember that. We talked about the consultancy orientation, different types of consultancy hats we can wear, or consultancy cap. In any one assignment, you could be the expert, you could be the doctor patient, you could be the process consultant. All of this we look at. It all depends on the situation at hand. Okay? The other thing we'll encourage you to do is to have your high-level approach, your framework of working. Always good to have that. So that when you're putting together a proposal or sending a proposal, clients can see the outline of how you deliver your services. Again, everybody would have their own individual framework developed for them. That's part of the handholding. Okay, after asking you several questions, going back and forth, you will come up with your own framework. So the training is not just theory, it's very practical and result-oriented. That's how we have structured it. We have grown in the last 5 years to make it more practical, more hands-on, so that, and at the end of the day, people can set up their consulting practice. There are different operation models, specialized consulting, full service, but never set out from day one to be a full consulting service model. No, you're going to stretch yourself too far, too thin, but you can grow. And this is one way of looking at it. In consulting, your average consulting firm has 8 different departments. These are 8 different departments. The 4 practice departments and then 4 support departments. So the matter is, when you start out as a single person, these are all 8 departments you are battling with. But once you structure it you can grow into this department. After 2-3 years, you can have interns who join you, and you can take some of these things off you. One of the things about how to grow a consulting business, again, when we get there, we'll show you. Many people leave what is called a one-man business, not because it's a one-man business, but because they don't see a future in that one. They don't see a future for themselves in that one-man business. KPMG is a company I respect a lot. From day one, they show you a career plan, a career path that in 25 years' time, Cadbury does it very well. That in 10, 15 years' time, this is where you can be. Go and check Cadbury, go and check KPMG. People don't just leave. Why? They see a future for themselves in that organization. So as a consulting firm, when people come to you, don't just let them say it's a one-man business. They say it's a one-man business because there is a ceiling. They don't see career opportunities and career path. You can charter a career path. You can't do this forever. You will burn out. And then by the time you are doing this for one client, you cannot do the same 8 activities for 2 clients, for 3. And I did for 2 clients, 3 clients. By the time you are getting 4 clients, you can't do all these 8 activities. And then you're realizing that you are getting clients, but you are not able to serve them well. Why? Because you don't have the capacity. So these are some of the things that we look at on how to grow your consulting business. Okay, we talked about ethics, we talked about standard, we talked about integrity, we talked about behavior that are crucial. Throughout the program, we will emphasize on all of this. And managing diversity, we talk about all of this. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. I'd like to take questions at this point. Thank you. It's been a long day. I must admit, it's been a long morning, and I'm very glad that many of us have stayed for this long. So I'm happy to take questions. Let's take questions. Let's take questions. Your concerns, talk to us, and then we can see how we can help you. Thank you very much. So I'm throwing the floor open for questions. Who wants to go first? Please pardon me, I'm drinking. Who wants to go first? Question?
Good afternoon, sir.
Mr. Bruno Okorie. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
sir. I want to thank you so much for this particular model. In fact, I never wished it came to an end. But unfortunately, it has to come up to an end. But I wish it continues. I want to know if this is the end of Module 1, or is this the end of a part of Module 1, and how long Module 1 will take so that I can start, putting the necessary structures and plans in place in terms of timing.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
This is Module 1. That's Module 1. But Module 1 is just laying a foundation for the other modules. So we have Module 1. Let me just open up my screen so you can see everything in retrospect. So this is the whole course outline. So Module 1 that we have looked at now is understanding consulting as providing a foundation for Module 1. Yeah. Next week, I'm going to be looking at consulting competencies and possibly start on Module 3, consulting business models. Because there are 10 modules, but I must cover these 10 modules in 5 weeks, 5 Saturdays of training. So consulting, the reason why I've not spent so much time today is because we've talked so much, a lot, and I don't want to oversaturate you. That's why I will have done Module 1 and 2 today.
Yes.
But the one so that you can retain knowledge. Module 1. Next week, we'll do at least Module 2, 3, possibly Module 4 next week. The upper Saturday, we'll do Module 5 and 6. And then we have put aside 6 Saturdays to do all these modules. So there are 10 modules that we're going to be looking at.
That's before moving to the next stage.
Before moving to stage. Yes, before moving to stage 2 of handholding. Some people will just say, look, I just need this foundational knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I'm not ready for the handholding. That's fine. So we're happy to do the Module 1. And then when you're ready, if you want to go through the phase 2 and phase 3, let us know. so that we can put a structure in place and you can take that at any time.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's the plan.
All right. So there are going to be some assessments after each module, right?
Yes. The
Okay.
assessment for this class for today is actually here, but I don't want to. We've talked so much today, so I don't want to give you the assessment.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's an assessment that will have given us today. Let me see if I can call it up. Yeah. I think it's after module 2. That's the assessment there. The consulting example will give us a problem, but I think it's a bit early to give us that problem. This is that's the assignment. So, but I think it's a bit early. So, so after every other module, there are about 5 different assessments that we need to. For those who want to go through, if you decide that you want to go through, you need to do the assignments. Very, very critical. The assignments are an important part of the training. So please, for those who decide, look, I want to go through the training, whether it's over 6 months or 12 months. We say 12 months. I mean, it might sound as if it's a long time, but learning has to be paced out. So there's what we call reflective learning. You teach things and people practice it out. And that's how people learn, especially as adults. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bruno. Any other question, please? Any other question? Yes, Dr. Abashi, I saw you mentioned something. Do I start the assignment now? Dr. Abashi, what is my position on certification? I want to continue with both certification and franchise, hopefully by next week. Okay, we will speak to one-to-one on that. Do I start the assignment now? The assignment is until next week. So please, we'll talk about that after the training next week, then you can do the assignment. We'll talk about the other aspects one-on-one. By all means, I mean, please, if you are not on the WhatsApp group, it's important. If you're not on the WhatsApp group, it's important you're on the WhatsApp group. Please, let me put my number here. You need to be on the WhatsApp group. So if you are not on it, please, 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 there's a class WhatsApp group. Everyone needs to be there, whether you are continuing or not, please, because we communicate about the class. So please, I'll put my number there. Send me a message to ensure you're on the WhatsApp group. We need that, not just for the 5 weeks, but going forward so that we can communicate much more effectively. All right, in the absence of questions, I'm going to ask. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Mr. Femi Ogaji.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Mr. Ogaji, 1 minute. Yes, Mr. Bruno, lessons will always be on Saturdays, 10 to 2. But if I look at how heavy the class is, we may not end at 2. We may end at 1. I don't want to oversaturate you with knowledge. Okay. So, but the time where we have is basically from 10 to 2 every Saturday. All right, Mr. Ogaji, good. Thank you for joining us. Your question?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
The program has been awesome. In fact, we are very, very happy to be part of it. The issue now is I want to talk about the technical hitches we have today. That is as regard connection. Sometimes the voice that is connecting you, the audio, sometimes it goes away and come back. Please, I don't know what we can do to make it better next week.
I will say this. It could be a local problem. There are people here who have said that they had every single word that we have said. So it could be a local problem. But how do we make sure that, even if it's a local problem from your end or from our end, what we do is make sure we record every single session. So you can play back as much as you like. Most times the recorded sessions are very clear. No issues with recorded sessions. So if you had issues, and I'm saying this to everyone, if you had issues of any sort, technically you were able to join late, you were being thrown out, listen to the recorded version. That tends to be clearer and yeah. So I'll suggest.
Thanks so much.
But please join.
Thanks so much.
Group. Join the group so that that's where we post all the information. Mr. Sunday Osagede, Mr. Sunday Sagede, yes.
Hello. Good
Please go
afternoon,
ahead.
sir. Thank you for this training. It's very explanatory and very understandable.
Thank you.
The question I want to ask is on the second part of this program, which is the hands-on experience learning with the consultant. Is it going to be on Saturdays like this, or is going to be a one-on-one engagement with the consultant, or whenever you need it?
It's going to be one-on-one. So you're going to agree the time with your consultant when you meet. So you're going to agree with the consultant, whether it's on Monday, 8 o'clock to 9 p.m., you're going to agree with the consultant on a mutually convenient time and date and time. So it's not a class. It's not a class session. However, I, as a consultant, I could be allocated 2-3 people, and I want to address a particular issue. I can call for a seminar on a date that is agreeable to all the 3 participants. Yeah, but it's largely one-on-one. Okay?
Okay.
Because it's peculiar to you. The solutions are original to you. So it's not a class. Yes, sir.
Yes. In the case of hello, I'm still on my question.
Okay.
In the case of assigning you to a consultant, maybe 3 of you are in a group. Will it still be a participating group? Maybe you and the people that are under that same consulting training will have to collaborate or learn together, or it's between you and only the consultant?
It's only you and the consultant. But it's only you and the consultant. That is it. It's one-to-one, participatory one-on-one. I simply said, in the event that a consultant sees a common issue that he wants to address, he may call up for a seminar of all 3 by way of solving that problem. But it's strictly one-on-one. Does it make sense?
Yes.
It is one-on-one. It just has the option of calling, say, guys, look, there's a particular issue I want to deal with. Can we have a seminar for 30 minutes so that I can deal with this issue, and then we can go back to one-on-one, yeah?
Okay.
Hello.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. John Oni.
Hello, Doc.
John Oni.
Yes, Doc.
Yes, sir.
Yes, hello. Now, the issue of location is maybe during the skipping in a network or something, maybe I didn't hear it clearly. Your location, I mean, physical office. Then, if this in the part 2 of this, when we need to meet the consultants physically, where and where? Somebody is from Ghana, somebody is from Nigeria, and maybe we are in a group and want to. Where is the location for meeting?
Now, most of the engagements will be online with your consultants. Most of the engagements will be online with your consultants. Now,
it's always online.
No. I said most of the engagements will be online with your consultant at an agreed date and time, one-on-one. It's not a group thing. It's just yourself and your consultant. Now, there are times I'm in Abuja and I call up anybody in Abuja. Look, I'm available in Abuja. Do you have any questions? I do one-on-one. When I'm in Ghana, I do the same. When I'm in London, I do the same. So when I'm in Lagos, I do the same. So I'm always available, and the consultants are available, provided they are in a city near you. It is not a problem. But predominantly, the consultation is one-on-one and is online. But where are you based, Mr. Oni?
I am based in Abuja.
Fantastic. We have consultants in Abuja. Dr. Toyin mentioned the consultant network is over 300 consultants that are in there. Don't mind Dr. Riwan Abashi. He's one of our consultants, so he can be a mentor. So there are people that can mentor you, that can see you one-on-one in your location. So if you need one-on-one engagement.
Noted. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I want to appreciate you, and I want to thank you for this. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's been so wonderful. It's been so wonderful. God bless you more.
Amen. Thank you, sir. All right. Anyone else? Question? Okay. In the absence of questions, this is one of the things I'm going to pass on to you. You must get feedback from your audience. So I'm going to get feedback from each one of us, starting with Femin. Mr. Femin, in 1 minute, tell us your key learning takeaway. What's your key learning takeaway from today? We'd like to hear from you. Labaran, be on standby. Labaran, be on standby.
Well, Doctor.
Yes, sir.
All I can say is that I'm very impressed with the presentation.
What's your key learning takeaway? What have you learned to take away today?
Oh, I've learned so many things. First of all, I thought consultancy was a little bit abstract, but I've been able to pin my fingers on what I need to do and what I should be planning ahead if I want to get into the full-fledged area of consultancy.
Fantastic.
I'm grateful, sir.
Good to hear that. Labran, Mr. Labran.
Hello.
Somebody saying hello. Who is saying hello? Someone was saying hello. Who was saying hello? Mr. Labran?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Ogaji.
Yes. For me, I have learned a lot. In fact, it's awesome. In fact, you have helped me to develop passion, strong passion for this. I can even say, should I call it addiction? Because the way it is, I have learned that consulting actually centers majorly on helping clients, that is individual on our organization, to solve their problem. I equally learned that you are not to make decisions for them. You can only, it's advisory, you provide solutions. They have to pick from it. I equally learned various levels of approach, which is very, very helpful for me. In fact, I'm very, very happy to be part of this program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We still have a long way to go. Mr. Labran, thank you, Femi Ogachi, for that. Mr. Labran, yes?
Yes, sir.
What's your learning takeaway,
Good afternoon. Yes, sir. It's very thought-provoking, this presentation, and I really enjoyed the presentation. What I wanted to ask is about all these this new incoming consultants like me. What and how can we go about the next stage? And how can I get the information about the next stage?
Okay, I mean, stay on the free classes, and then we would always communicate how to progress to the next stage. But after the first 5 weeks, for those who say, look, I want to go on the next stage, we'll start organizing one-on-one sessions whereby we understand where you are. That's the audit. So the next phase is we audit you. What are your skills? What are your competencies? What are your experiences? What are your knowledge? What are your area? We do that audit. And then we look at the business that you want to go into. And then we begin to look at opportunities and what the gaps are. And once we identify that, then we start beginning to research how big is that opportunity, and then begin to develop products for that market. So it's a whole complete exercise. It starts with sitting with you after the 5 weeks and understanding who you are, where you want to go into, what are the opportunities, how big are the opportunities, and how can we prepare you to position yourself for those opportunities. So that's the second and the third phase. Okay.
Oh, all right, sir.
All right.
But do you have any office in Kaduna?
Yes, Dr. Riwan. Dr. Riwan.
Hey.
Doctor, yeah.
Yes.
Labran will be contacting you.
Okay.
He's in Kaduna. So
it's all right.
So Labran, let me make sure we have your details, your number, and all of that, and then Dr.
Right.
will be contacting you.
It's all right.
It's all right, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's go to Adebisi Adenuba. Adebisi Adenuba. Let's have your feedback, please. Adebisi Adenuba.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the class, and I guess I did.
We lost you. Adebisi, we lost you. We lost Adebisi there. All right, let's go to Adebisi. We lost you. We didn't catch the last bit.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
All right. I said I actually was not in class. I think Zoom network took me off.
Oh, really?
And yes, I was not able to introduce myself.
Okay.
So I've been into consulting for a while.
Okay.
And I consult for small, medium enterprise, for those who are just starting up their businesses and all that. Also an internal audit professional. And so one of the things I'm actually taking out of this class, I'm a bit familiar with a lot of things, but one of the things that probably I missed out in the course of my consulting, and probably I didn't really just put a note to it, is the three major aspects of consulting. That advisory, the solution, and execution. Most times, I'm always aiming to get to that execution part, which sometimes I'm like, I go overboard. And, I just find myself not being able to, probably turn that last part to say, okay, let me end it at the advisory part, or maybe go further to just provide solution, and that ends it, my consulting, consultation with my clients. I'm always just aiming at that execution. I just want to provide this thing. I just want to get them results, and just see them run and operate, and all that. So I think you've done justice to that for me. And of course, I'm looking forward to the next class. I'm looking forward to the next level, and even the third part too as well. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. I mean, I get that a lot when we break down the consulting into three. Yes, we might be eager. We want them to get the results, but they may not be ready. So we've got to go at their own
you're right. You're right.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. Please, let's make sure that we have you're on the WhatsApp group, please.
All right. Please, can I get the number?
Yeah,
please, can I get the number for WhatsApp?
Yeah, I'm writing it up again. I think I wrote it. My number is there. That's the WhatsApp group. 0701. Please send me a message. 726-3830. We need to so that we're engaged. Yes, the lessons will be on Saturday. Just the lessons. After the 5 weeks, then we can arrange individual times for the one-to-one consultation. Just the lessons over the next 5 weeks. Okay, but if we don't have you on the group chat, or you're not on the WhatsApp, we may not be able to send you the times and details of the lesson. So please send me a message on that number so that you can be on the WhatsApp group. John Okoli, are you there? John Okoli, your feedback. Patricia Sampson, are you there? Patricia, are you there? All right,
just a moment. Somebody else should go on. Just a moment.
Okay, but Olu Oladujoye. I have put the number up. Number is 0701. It's on the group chat. 726-3830. Please make sure you contact me so you can join the WhatsApp group. Oladujoye, please.
I'm here now. Do you want me to say something?
Okay, please. Yes.
Okay. So my takeaway is that we have to try not to do one-man consultancy business. I think it's a key thing for me to read around and learn. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you, Patricia.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Olu Oladujoye, are you there? Mr. John Oni? Mr. John Oni?
Yes, thank you so much. Though one has been trying to put do one job or the other, but this training has really broken down where you can actually start and where you can actually stop. Instead of putting the whole gamut together, wanting to advise, trying to analyze, trying to advise, trying to execute and see the result, which you said you added as part of the last thing. But now the framework, consultancy framework, will actually help a lot when you set out your framework. And I have just discovered now that you just need to put a framework to your client and explain to them as you put cost tag to each phase of the consultancy, so that can give you even integrity. This person
we lost John there. Again, Mensah, Mr. Mensah. Mr. Mensah.
He knows what he's doing by giving.
We lost
Hello?
you, sir. We lost you, sir. Yeah, we can hear you now.
I said the
All right. Again, Mensah, are you there? Again, Mensah. Etimbasi, Mr. Etimbasi, are you there?
Yes, thank you very much.
If you,
It has been.
Hello, doctor.
Okay.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead, please.
It has been an eye-opener for me because just getting here, as I said earlier. For me, the take out of here is the detailed definition of consulting that leads to the high-level approach, the DESA framework, which is breaks down the knowledge that we're about to learn and go through. It's something I'm excited about, and I want to say that subsequent classes will give more explanation to all these terms. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. All right, let's go to Joseph Abiodun. Joseph Abiodun.
Thank you so very much, sir. Your presentation was highly educative and impactful. So I learned much about what you have presented. Number one, I learned that as a consultant, the first thing to do is to do our due diligence. So very, very important. And we should not place much premium on price, rather should be on value. So, and also, as a consultant, you have to understand that you need to analyze problem, develop solutions, and deliver value to the clients. So I'm very grateful to be part of this, and I'm hoping to be part of the substance ones. Thank you so very much, sir.
You're welcome, sir. Please make sure that.
Hello, doctor.
Make sure that you are part of the WhatsApp group. Yeah. Make sure you're part of the WhatsApp group. The number is on the chat there. Alani Odonton. Mr. Alani Odonton. Mr. Alani, are you there? Okay, let's go to Oriyomi Oladeji. Oriyomi Oladeji, are you there? Oriyomi Oladeji, are you there? All right, again, Mensah, let's have your feedback. Okay, Mr. Oriyomi, yes, let's hear from you.
Yes, indeed, this particular meeting has been very impactful to me, and it is an eye-opener too, because at first I thought that consulting was something else, some theoretical aspect that you have to get and the basics, and then you take it from there. But I could see that there are some to have some practical know-how, so you can be able to solve problems. And again, I also I'm able to know that at every stage of the consulting processes, you can end at a point, depending on where your services are needed. So what I want to say is that sometimes they need your advice, then you end it there.
Yeah.
Other times you have to give them the advice, and then you also give them the way to solve their problems, and on to the last end when the need arises. So I'm very grateful, Doctor, and thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much.
Thank you
and
for
your team.
joining. Thank you, sir. Who have I missed? That Labaran, Mr. Labaran.
Yes, sir.
Let's have your feedback, please.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir. Mr. Labaran, we can hear you. We can hear you, sir. All right, while we're doing that, Mr. Oladeji Oriyomi, can you hear me? Mr. Oladeji Oriyomi. Labran, you want to go ahead now? Alani Odunton, yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead, sir.
Can't get clearly.
We can hear you. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Honestly, it's a very interesting program. It's a program I've been talking a lot to see, even the background of the time. It's to be like. There's a couple of them that are trying to get in touch with. This program exposed me to payment of what I look forward to build up our career.
All right. Okay. All right, thank you. Oriyomi Oladeji says he has a problem getting through. I had a problem using my laptop audio. I would like to follow through this robust training. Thank you, Mr. Oladeji. Thank you so much, sir, Mr. Oladeji. Have I missed out anyone else? Toyin, are you still, Dr. Toyin still with us?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Okoli.
Yes, I'm still here.
Wow, okay, I'll come to you, Dr. Toyin. John Okoli.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good day, everyone. Yes, it's to say that School of Consulting, the training this morning has been very helpful. I will want to continue. It is something I need all through the time because every organization, work for a missionary organization, everything about an organization is they need consulting to keep checking efficiency, to keep checking whether they are working through their goals. So for me, it is a training I have signed up for. It is good. Thank you very much, School of Consulting. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are you on the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I am. I am. I will. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Alani Odunton. Mr. Alani, are you there? Mr. Alani Odunton. Bruno, have you given us your feedback? Bruno Courier? Oli?
Yes, I have.
Oh, thank you,
I was
sir.
the first.
Yes, absolutely, I remember. Olu Olatunjoye. All right, okay. Well, I mean, Dr. Abashi, let me hear from you, and then we hear from Dr. Toyin. Dr. Abashi, is still there?
Okay, yeah, I'm around. Yeah, actually, I did change management consulting for 2 organizations in Abuja. And I think I over-labeled myself because I was thinking execution, evaluation and feedback, and knowledge transfer must be part of what I was supposed to do. And I did that. And like you said, execution is not compulsory. I had a challenge with one of the clients actually because I was insisting on execution to see the outcome of the job, and they were reluctant. So at the end of the day, I didn't get to do the execution, and now I've discovered that I don't have to over-level myself. I could stop at the recommendation level, and then they do the implementation, and that's my main takeaway today, because I know the basic building blocks of consulting is understanding the client's needs, analysis and diagnosis, recommendation, implementation. So I went ahead to execution, monitoring, evaluation, feedback, knowledge transfer, So I think I'm better informed now that I'll have to mind where I'm supposed to stop.
Well,
Thank
it's
you
not
very
a
much.
problem because see, at the end of the day, I understand where we are coming from. We are driven by the need to provide solution as consultants. That is what makes us boss. But guess what? If the client doesn't want to go that far, why do you want to force them to go that far? So stay within what they want and get them to pay you. And if they need execution and they don't need it, that's not a problem. Don't make it your problem. So what we tend to do is we make what is not a problem to the clients become our own problem. And they begin to wonder,
exactly,
which one is your own? So, and guess what? When you break it down into 3, you can even earn more.
Exactly.
You can even earn more.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Before I go to Dr. Tony, anyone else? Thank you so much, Dr. Riwan. I really appreciate you. Anyone else before I go to Dr. Tony? Anyone else? Any question? Any last feedback? Anything else?
Yes,
Mr. Sunday.
Yes. Thank you very much for the training. I've learned a lot from this session. I've learned that in your consulting practice, that you should never leave your client worse off. You should never leave them worse than how you met them. You have it in mind that you are there to solve their problem. And secondly, is that in doing your consulting, you need to projectize it. You need to break it into sessions so that you don't begin to share things that you are not expected to share unnecessarily. You break it down so that you don't do everything at once. And secondly, you also, I also understand that there are many areas, many opportunities for consulting as a business that you can take, different niches where you can do your consulting practices. So these are key things that I understand through this training, and I look forward to the subsequent training as well. Thank you very much.
As long as you're on the group chat, let's be on the group chat. Dr. Tony, thank you. Femin, thank you. Agemensa, Labran, Dr. Rewan, Koli, Oluoladujoye, Olufemi Ogaji. It's been a long day. Bruno Courier, I appreciate you. Etimbasi, Alani Odunton. I'm sure I've mentioned everyone. Mr. John Oni, thank you so much. Dr. Tony, let's have a final word from you.
Yes, good evening. Say good evening. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. Please, by all means, make sure you are part of this community. Like I will just repeat again, training just creates awareness. Mentoring and coaching creates discipline, okay? One thing that has helped me in life to move quite fast is I intentionally create a system that makes me uncomfortable. I pay to be accountable for systems that will make me uncomfortable with my comfort zone so that I would be propelled to the level in which I desire, and it has always worked. Finally, community brings wealth. It is only those that are at the bottom that compete. Those of us at the top collaborate. That's all from me. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Good final word. Good final word. Again, I can emphasize the fact that Dr. Tony has been a great all-rounder. I mean, so if I ask for someone to be on our faculty, I'm very pleased that she's on the faculty. Dr. Rewan too is the franchisee holder for the school in Kaduna. I have a student for you already. So So we thank God for that. So next week, same time, 10 o'clock, same link. Use the same link next week, 10 o'clock. But much more for those who are committing to starting. Let's begin to know now so that we can begin to structure how we can support you. Send a message on the WhatsApp number 0701 726 3830. I repeat, 0701 726 3830. Make sure you are in that WhatsApp group, School of Consulting class 3 for 2024. And then confirm that you're going on to the next stage. Don't wait until the end of the training to take advantage of the 50%. Decide now and let us know. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. But of course, I'm available in the course of the week. Don't wait until next week. You can engage me, ask me questions throughout the week. I'm always available. I live, dream, wake up, School of Consulting. I don't do any other thing. So I am there for you. All right. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm sorry it's taking nearly 4 hours of your lifetime, but it's worth the investment in your future. Thank you, Mr. Timbasi, Ogaji, Sunday, Alani.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Labran, Mr. Abashi,
Yes.
Azarat, John Oni, Mensa, Mr. Femi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
The
Yes,
recorded version will be placed on the group chat.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
God bless
the
you.
recorded version, God bless you too. The recorded version
all
will
right.
be placed online, so you can watch it. You can watch it again. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.